Welcome back to the League of Inches podcast. Quick dumps post round 16. I'm back, your host, back. Thank you to Sid. Thank you to the boys for jumping in last week and getting this show done. Listen back to it. And apart from Tyler going who knows where, it was a great episode. And the other boys, it would have been a big thoroughfare experience on that with your first show without me. And they did well. They did very, very well. Sid apparently it was too much for him. He needs a break after that. Tyler's scarred him with just dropping in and out. So he needs to have a week off. So I've granted that for him. He promises to be great for this run home into the finals, to be bigger and better than ever. And when I say bigger, it is winter, so he will literally be bigger when he comes back. So it'll be all good. We love you, Sid. So get better soon, mate, in all seriousness. That man flu, I tell you what, it's a shit of a thing. The missus gets it, and she just keeps doing everything. We get it, and we're bedridden for 5 days. We can't move. So it's a real thing, man flu. I'm telling you, everyone out there, it's a real thing. You know how this works by now. We get straight into things. We rip and tear for 6 talking points, and then we say goodbye. So off we go. Dump number 1, and I'll be throwing to Tyler straight away. And these are all by Sid, by the way, guys. So Sid wrote us everything. He was actually ready to go, and then at last minute, he couldn't do it. The Storm are sitting pretty in first. Can you point out 3 factors for such a successful football team over such a long time? Timer starts now, Tyler.
I think their depth has been one of their biggest attributes to them being such a great team for, over the period a long time. Possibly, we also have some shady deals with a few boats and a few houses in there. But we don't talk about, that. 2009.
Oh, you just did.
That's okay. And also just their coach Bellamy. He's one of the best in the game, and as much as I think one day he's probably going to fall off the chair and have a heart attack from yelling at someone too much, he won't retire. He'll die in the coach's box. But he's one of the best that's ever done it, and I hope to see him for a few more years to come at least.
Goodness me, you got him by about 4 seconds. You timed that to perfection. Well done, Tyler. Jace, you promised a good one for this one. Let's see if you deliver.
Yeah, well, I'll talk about it. It's pretty easy to do well when Parra buys the club and teaches you how to pass brown paper bags under the table and give people free boats and things. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons why you do well over the years. But look, in all seriousness, though, Bellamy's a decent coach and he knows how to just turn players into stars. I mean, even Cooper Cronk talks about how he was an average player. He used to play centre, he used to play wing, didn't know where he was going to be, and then all of a sudden turned him into a gun half. Same with Munster, didn't know where to play him, made the team revolve around him and his style. Did it with Hughes, did it with lots of players. I think even the greats that played at Melbourne. So look, he's a good coach, definitely with a lot of luck and a lot of support, but just knows how to use his cattle.
Bam. Well done. You got in just, you two are perfect so far. It's fair to say you've done this before. Now, Trav, he's on debut in terms of quick dumps. He's not on his club debut. He's probably on his away trip debut. He's a Storm fan as well, guys. So this answer, we could see anything here. Trav, fire back and fire away.
I'll just keep it simple. 3 things, right? These other 2 only said 2. 3 things. 1, culture. Now, how does that culture get built? Because you've got a wonderful coach. You've got great people making decisions above board him, and you've got people with him, and you've allowed the coach to make those decisions, right? So they've given Bellamy the thought. So he's got the keys. Let him run it. So that's 1. 2, don't underestimate the fact that they live in Melbourne. It's an organisation in Melbourne. That's an AFL. It's an AFL, or that's a sporting capital of Australia, right? So, it's the pressure is much less on them. It's much easier to go down the street and have a coffee and you're not bombarded by people. Like even here in Brisbane, you get that all the time with the Broncos boys and the Gold Coast boys and things like that. In Melbourne, you don't get that. Like Nas can walk through, and I know he does because I've walked past him and had no idea it was him. It was only that my wife said it. So, like, you don't underestimate the fact that it's just it's a big city, and they're a chance to live a life and have away from footy is important. And the other thing too, and Tyler touched on it, you're the depth. But how do you get the depth? Because your coaching and your organisation gets it.
Yep. No, I love it. Look, you went a little bit over, but I gave you the benefit of the doubt because you're actually doing a good point there. So I was enjoying that one. So when I do enjoy what you're going, I'll give you a bit of leeway on debut.
Well, the hardest thing is you want to rebuttal what the other boys have said.
Well, you know what? Yeah, let's break off a second. I'm going to do a first for quick dumps, and Sid's probably going to hate me for it. But go on, do a quick rebuttal and just get back into it. But actually, no. Parramatta are coming up, and I know there's a hatred there from both sides. So you can just come back at us with the Parramatta stuff. It's all good. You can just boil up and explode once we get to dump number 5. For me, for the Storm, basically culture is the first thing that points out just that anyone that comes in, it's the next man up mentality. Whether it's Munster out, they get Wishart come in, and Wishart all of a sudden looks like a top 3, 5, 8 in the game. Like, it's just crazy. So that's all because of Craig Bellamy, what he's done there, the outfit, the club management. I'm just jealous that my club doesn't have that. Point number 2, I'd say attitude. Their attitude for just the whole club is spot on. Their attitude is winning. That's all they think about. That's all they believe in. And that just resonates within the whole playing group, the whole roster, the whole club. They just know anything that they're doing, they need to win at. Otherwise, it's a failure, nothing else. Number 3, I think what Travis said as well with the living like Melbourne, it's just them. It's them against everyone else sort of mentality. And they're away. Who knows? They could be getting up to mischief. We've got no idea because no one cares down there about them. Like, it's all AFL. So who knows? But it's working for them. That whole little bubble they've got works perfect for them. Dump number 2. Titans put on 66 on the Warriors on the weekend. Were the Titans that good? The Warriors that bad? Or a bit of both? We've had this on before for a couple of teams, so maybe to practice answering these. Tyler, I'm actually not going to let you say bit of both. I'm going to take bit of both out of this because I'm sick of us sitting on the fence. It's either you think the Titans were that good or the Warriors were that bad. Go fire away.
I said it I said it yesterday, and I'll say it again. Titans just played that well. They have this team that can switch it on, and they've had that for a few years, but they've just been unlucky with injuries. Obviously, COVID season just absolutely messed everything around. And they're still kind of the new-ish boys on the block rather than the Dolphins, of course. But Titans are a great team, and I can see them going well in the future. I don't know whether this year's going to be the year. I think they've left it a little bit too late. But I think it was just the Titans finally showing a bit of that muscle that I think we all know they have stored back in the reserves.
Oh, honestly, you're getting way too good at this. It's scary. Jace, Titans that good, Warriors were that bad.
No, I'll go the opposite. Warriors were horrible. That was a capitulation. You don't get 60 put on you unless you give up, and they gave up, and they gave up very early on. AFB had a shocker. SJ had a shocker. They all had shockers, absolute shockers. Couldn't tackle, didn't care, dropped the ball, no possession. It was one of the worst performances. And the Warriors, unfortunately, have set a high expectation now. They're a good team, so they should be getting up for games. And it was quite shocking. It was a horrible performance from the Warriors, unfortunately, and they just have to get back next week and just forget about it. But yeah, they were horrible.
So, Trav, we've got one each so far. Let's see what way you go.
I'm a big believer of teams being underestimating what actually was done to them. So we always constantly have a go at the team that lost and say it was their fault, and we don't give credit and kudos to the team that actually did the good job. So I think the credit needs to go here to the Titans to do what they did to the Warriors. The Titans were good. We're better than good. They were amazing. To put 66 up against that Warriors team when the Warriors just only a couple of weeks ago went to the Cowboys and beat them, they were amazing. So kudos has got to go way more to the team that did the good job, because it's easier to be negative. We're in a society that likes to be negative to everything, and we make a news story out of the negativity instead of giving the positive to the team that smashed them.
Yeah. You know what? You talked me around here. I'm going to give it to the Titans as well. Give them a bit of positivity in this chat. So well done to them. They were fantastic. Great to see Jaden Campbell, Keanu Keeney, Kieran Foran. I thought was perfect. Just played his role awesome. Obviously he's getting on either this year or next year. He will call time, and his body's just how it's hanging on. I got no idea, but credit to them. They looked such a good football team, and I think they have been building into these sorts of performances. No one ever would have seen a 66-point game by them, but they look like they have been building a little bit the last probably month or so. So credit to the Titans that they were very, very good. Number 3, the contenders or pretenders. This week, we seem to do this every week. It's another team. We've got the Bulldogs, and a little special and Sitter's throat and go. So off you go, Tyler.
Right. Pretenders all the way. They are a different team than they were last year. Yes, I understand that. But they'll drop out of the 8, and I can see them finishing around, let's say, 10th, 11th. They don't belong in that top 8. They've just gone and bought all the, ex-Penrith players, and good on them. Uncle Gus's wallet's finally starting to pay out. Took his only, 3 or 4 seasons of doing that shit. But yeah, no, absolute pretenders. I can't believe that Bulldogs are even in a smoky conversation for the premiership.
Are you on one of your things tonight? Like, you were pretty tame last night. I feel like you're just due to bubble up, and tonight's tonight.
I've got to replace Sid. Sid. So
you did promise that in the chat today, so you are living up to it early on. I can't wait to see what the next one's produce. Jace, contenders or pretenders?
Yeah, pretenders. I did compliment their defense, and I think Saturday against the Roosters was a good test to see where they're at. And unfortunately, they're not there yet. It was terrible weather, and it was very defensive type weather. And they could have played a very defensive minded game and got into a bit of a tug of war, into the grunt of things, but they didn't. And they got destroyed by a decent kicking game as well. So they're just not there. Look, unfortunately, their halves aren't good enough. They may come 8th, but maybe not. But they're unfortunately pretenders. Yeah,
it's an interesting one there. But Trav, contenders or pretenders?
I'm not going to say either. I'm sorry. I'm going to sit on the fence because they're not contenders. And I kind of agree with Tyler. They're definitely not anywhere near the top 4. I think they will make the 8, but they're not going to go anywhere. I dare say they'll probably be happy just to make finals and lose that first round. But they're not pretenders either because they're not terrible. They're not bad. They're not Parra sitting at the bottom of the ladder.
I'm muting him.
I waited. I had that. I had that sitting there in my line.
Off you go.
They're not Parra. But they're not. Like they're not a bad team, and you don't want to come up against them. And any given day they're going to turn it on. And they're going to do it a hell of a lot more than they're not going to. And they're building. They're definitely building. The coach, Cameron Serralda, seems like he's doing a good job. Yes, they've taken on a lot of the Penrith boys, but there's a reason why. Penrith can't keep everyone, so you've got to go and get them. So, yeah, they're not contenders, but they're not pretenders.
Yeah, this one's a hard one when it comes to these teams because pretenders is a very harsh way to put it. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to put him in the pretenders bracket because for mine, a contender is winning the comp. Are they a chance to? I say not this year. Maybe next year. They're looking a bit better. Possible a couple of good signings there as well. But for this year, I have to say that they are pretenders in my opinion. As sort of you've all alluded to, I don't think they're like a bottom 4 pretender type team, which is where I sort of label these sorts of labels. But they're just not a chance to win the comp this year. I think on the weekend showed me that how important Crichton is to this team as well, both not just in attack but in defense especially. He's just their rock and their leader now. We've all heard the stories about how much he stepped up as captain. I believe it now after seeing that on the weekend because they sort of looked like a bit of, I know it was a hard game conditions wise, but there was a bit of Bulldogs of old in that performance, so I don't think they would have enjoyed doing the video back on that game and seeing some of the stuff that they did do. Dump number 4. Raiders extend Ricky Stewart to a massive 5-year deal on he's even got the date here. Sid's gone deep into this one. I think he's a big Sticky fan. 15th of the 5th, 24. Raiders have since gone win-loss, buy-loss. All the losses have been by 20-plus points. Give us your thoughts about, I'm guessing he's probably talking about the extension. Was it the right thing? Ricky, wherever you want to take this one, I guess, because he hasn't really made it clear. Tyler, off you go.
Couldn't have happened to one better team apart from possibly Melbourne, the cheating mongrels. I don't like Ricky.
How many have you had tonight?
For what he did to our club. I don't like him. And I absolutely hate Rapana. As most of you know, that was one of my first agendas when I first came on the podcast. I still think he's an absolute flog, and I laugh at every error that he makes. Jordan, I hope you're doing well. In all seriousness, but look, Ricky can turn it on if he wants, but I don't know whether he's possibly run his time at this point. Whether he's exhausted this pack. I've heard that term thrown around a lot this year with people like Brad Arthur and especially with the Cowboys as well. But they seem to turn it on. So look, they can turn it around, and they're a team that can turn it on when they want. But yeah, I don't know whether it was the right decision personally.
I don't know what had just happened, but I feel like I loved every second of it. I don't know, but I feel like it was. I feel like it was good. Jace, let's see where you take this one, because I don't know how I'm answering this still.
I love the opportunities to take stabs at players as well. But Sticky Ricky, the weak-gutted dog, never forgive him for 2013. But I guess he was employed to sack the whole Parra team and for us to come last. I don't like him personally, but he's Canberra. He's Raiders through and through, and that's why he's got that extension. He bleeds green, and that's the type of coach that they need. I actually don't mind that he's blooding a few young players, giving people a go. He's doing what BA should have done like 3 years ago. And people were comparing them. But Sticky he is in a different league. He has won a comp. He was a better player as well. So he knows his way around, and he's Raiders. So he'll be there forever. So it's good for them. And he's always good at a press conference to have a laugh as well.
Yep. Trav, let's see how you take it, bro, because you actually haven't met Sid, so you don't know what he's like. But honestly, the guy's a bit of a loony. The fact that he's got sick brain now just explains why this isn't even a question. So I don't even know what we're doing with this one, but good luck.
Yeah, I didn't know how to answer it. It's not a question. Give us your thoughts. No,
just give us your thoughts about Ricky Stewart.
Who else would they get? Like you got to look at Parramatta, right, and the issues that they've got with their coaching now, and who they're going to get. And I'm constantly seeing what you guys are writing in the group and what you see in the posts and all these things about who they're getting, what are they getting. Ricky Stewart's a bloody good coach, right? So who else would they get? You've got to sign him, so you've got to keep him. I agree entirely with Jace. They're bloody strange weeks. Brought in Smithies this year. Tarpany in the last couple of years has become a top 3 FRF. Horsburgh last year was got Tomoko still got to come back. Rapina's had a great year this year for what Rapina is. As much as we hate him, or as you guys hate him, he has right.
Don't bring me into it.
You got to give kudos where it goes. But I've got to go back to who else will you get? Like who else would they get?
That's the thing that I want to bring up. I feel like, as sort of Jace alluded to, he's Canberra. As much as people probably don't rate Canberra, I think we forget a lot as well that they've actually been quite successful over the years in terms of finals football. Like they're actually pretty consistent when it comes to just finding a way to get in the 8. They just get there. I don't know what it is, but the point I want to allude to is the recruitment side of things, whether it's playing wise or coaching wise. It's so hard to recruit in Canberra because it's a shithole. Let's be honest. It's hard to get players to move there, especially when they've got families and stuff, because no one really wants to live there. And sorry, Canberra, but you all know it's true. I lived down at Bateman's Bay for a while. I know what you're all like. You all bag it out more than we bag it out. So it's a hard place to live, to be at. They've got a very big disadvantage, in my opinion. The fact that they've been as sort of successful, sort of as they have been in recent times, is a huge credit to Ricky. So do I think 5 years? I don't think I think they could have just played with him and said, look, you know what? Let's just go 2 or 3 years each time and just see how things are going. 5 years, maybe a little bit too much. It just, for mine, feels like it's going to end in a payout if it does. So credit to Ricky for getting that. But yeah, I don't know. Ricky's sort of is Canberra, so that's it. Dump number 5. How fun. I thought I got one night away from talking about Parra, but here we are. Thanks, Sid. Love the fact that you brought this up again. Eels are now in last place. Could we see a first ever caretaker coach being sacked mid-season? So Brad Arthur's gone. Sid's trying to tell us that we'll sack Trent Barrett as well. Tyler, can it happen? What are your thoughts?
We took 9 years to sack Arthur. We'll take another 9 to sack Barrett. It's not going to happen. We don't have the brains for it. They put their 3 brain cells together and figured out how to submit the resignation papers or the termination papers. Sorry. So it's going to have to take them a few more years to figure out how the system works again. But look, I don't think it'll happen. We'll just sit there and plod along in bottom 2 for the rest of the year, and honestly, probably still be happy with the profit we're making. So that's me.
Oh God, you are just have a skull, Jace. You are having to back up Tyler all night, so you've had to have the tough carry. Let's see where you go.
Yeah, it's all right. I used to take some tough carries back in the day. Look, correlation and causation are 2 different things, but I'll say both about Trent Barrett. He's correlated to the fact that
you dumb that down for us dummies, please.
well, he's correlated to the fact that we've gone downhill since he came, and he's caused losses. So he's both. He's a fucking Gronk, and I'm sick of him. And he can go as well. Sack him. Fuck it. Sack him. I don't care. At the way we're at, I might as well take a leaf out of 8 Mile and just keep bagging out Parra, because there's nothing you can say that we don't already know. We fucking suck. We are seriously the shittest team in the comp. How did we lose to the fucking bye is beyond me. And then they keep posting shit like, oh, the boys are training hard. Mate, I'll fucking make you train hard. I'll chase you around the park with a fucking wooden spoon. Like, seriously? I'm just so done. I'm so fucking done. Like, these fucking posts about, oh, we're training hard. Anyway, yeah, we suck.
Oh, honestly, I'm doing this for the first time ever. I'm giving you another minute. Just keep going with whatever you want to go on. Because that's fantastic.
What else do I have to say? Like, Trent Barrett comes out and almost did the same thing that BA does and goes, the effort was there. Like, shut the fuck up, man. Are you fucking serious? You're the one that's supposed to teach Moses and Gutho and Brown how to be better fucking halves and how to be on a spine, and he still doesn't know what the fuck to do. He's a fucking idiot.
So just to answer the question, do you think Barrett will be sacked?
Yeah, I said yes. That's fucking done. Sack him. Sack him. I don't care. The board can keep pretending that they're not to blame, and they can just keep sacking coaches. Just go down the line. Sack the performance coach. Sack the Reggie's coach. Sack the fucking all the rest of them. Who cares? Sack everyone. Sack the whole club. Sack the whole thing. We burnt down the stadium in fucking 81. Why don't we just burn down the club and start again?
Move it to Perth.
So, Trav, as you can see, I know you probably wanted to fire back some shots, but there's probably nothing you can say to get us anymore. We're dead inside. We are done. Go ahead. Go.
I don't need to say anything, do I? Like, Tyler summed it up pretty well, and Jace got abusive. Like, it's perfect. But and listen, I don't even hate Parra. I just don't like you guys having a go at me. But
that's Adam. Hey, that is Adam originally. Now these 2 have backed on. I've been nice.
But for the sake of a show and for the sake of news, I want to see Barrett sacked. But I didn't think they should have. I didn't think they should have sacked Brad Arthurs in the first place. I thought they should have waited till the end of the year. I'm not a fan of mid-season drops at all in any sport. You pay the money, keep them there. But yeah, for the sake of a show, for sake of news, and for the laughs that I'll get off the post from LOI and in the group, sack him, because I think that'll be hilarious.
You know what? It would be a great moment in history. Our club sacking 2 coaches in the 1 year. Goodness me. On Trent, like, honestly, I would sack him. I just, because for mine, he was with BA. He's one of his boys. He was in the club. He was around it. how can you move on this year? Like we sacked Brad with enough time for someone to come in and actually help turn the place around to reach something this year, to try and get something out of the year. All we've done is put someone in who did exactly what BA is doing, his systems and stuff. The guy has the worst coaching record, I think, we've seen in a long time. Like, he's never done anything as a head coach, and people will blame, he had the Bulldogs. Oh, he had Manly. He had this and that. Go back and look. He had some actually pretty decent rosters at his hands. So he's just done nothing. He's got like a 21% coaching record. And here we are going, we were entertaining him being our head coach moving forward. Like, honestly, the fans would have had a ride if that happened. I'm telling you right now. Just honestly, you know what? Get rid of him. Sack him. Oh, Nathan Hindmarsh, whatever you're doing, I know you're having a joke, having a laugh. Just you and Fletch go down, coach the team for the rest of the year. Just have a laugh with everyone, because we're all laughing now. The club's a joke, so we may as well keep creating it and keep treating it like a joke. So well done. We'll see you on the weekend at the Newcastle game. Last tackle, bit of a story here. So he's accidentally passed it to a front rower on the last, who then throws a no-looker wildly. So he's thrown a no-looker. I don't know if he's what's happened beyond this, because he hasn't actually told me. I'm guessing he's just got crunched. No one's fell for the dummy. Graham Ennersley seems to be apologising every week for a bunker error. This does nothing for the affected team. Can we think of anything after the fact that can benefit the team that copped the dud call? Good luck, Tyler. This is actually Sid. This is a good one.
It happens in every sport. What do you want to do? Send him a gift basket? That doesn't make sense. It happens in every sport, and this is unfortunately just this is the way sport happens. And it doesn't matter if it's the bunker, because then if we start reversing decisions, then people are going to want forward pass decisions being able to be reversed, and 14 players on the field. In the rare occasion that it does happen, they want that. Like, do you want them to come out the next week and replay that play? That doesn't. There's nothing that they can do, unfortunately, and it is shit when it happens to your team, but it happens to every single team. And look, I think the thing that's frustrating more than the issues with the bunker error is the consistency. There needs to be consistency. If there was consistency, I don't think as many people would have an issue. I mean, for me, myself, I wouldn't have that much of an issue with it. It's shitful when it happens, but that's sport. I watch a lot of sport, and people make mistakes. Referees are human. I know the bunker, is a computer-controlled thing, but there's still a human making the decisions. Until we get some sort of, VAR technology, possibly we can speak to, soccer to get that technology, but until we get that, there's nothing that we can do. And even when we do get that, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what people want us to do. They want us to go back and play the ball a week after. It doesn't. Sorry, I don't want to entertain that. Time's
up, brother. Honestly, I'm glad tonight's over for you, because I thought you were about to pop at one stage. Jace, I thought your head's going to explode. Jace, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I've got a few thoughts about this, maybe a bit out there, outside of the box. But first, there's not much you can do, right? I mean, at the end of the day, everyone's human. Refs make mistakes. You go either way. You either have to get everything right, and like Tyler said, you have to have some form of either AI or robot technology, VAR, that monitors absolutely everything, and you've got to have like 100 cameras to make sure you get everything right. Or you just get rid of everything, go back to just refs, and fuck it. If you miss it, you miss it, right? But some thoughts I had. So, for instance, in cricket, if the other team does something wrong in the first innings, like have too many players on the field, then they get a penalty when it comes to runs. So they'll start on negative runs, and vice versa. If the batsmen run across in the middle of the pitch, they get a plus runs for the other team. So some sort of penalty system that affects for and against, maybe, or something like that, or maybe there's a redo, like in the replay match, or something along those lines, maybe, but only if it's like a howler, like a really, really disgusting and maybe foul play, if foul play is missed. But if a forward pass is missed and it leads to a try, I mean, is what it is. You just have to cop it on the chin. That's footy.
Trav, what do you got for us?
Yeah, look, I agree with Tyler entirely. What are you going to do? Like, I watch basketball, I watch AFL, I watch ice hockey. It's sports. They're humans. They're refs. So unfortunately, they make mistakes. So how often do we sit there and we dissect every single decision that a
Hang on.
referee and
1 sec from you. Sorry, bro. Of course you're going to protect the refs. You had the head ref for like 12 years of your career. So you're going to always protect the refs. I had to do something. It was my
Ref
turn.
Smith. Ref Smith.
You're welcome to. But either way, I don't care. I'm just going to keep going. So yeah, like we sit there and we have a go at the refs. We dissect every single thing that they do. We continue. We berate them. We massively insult them. But when a player makes mistakes and when a player does stuff, it's just the way it is. That's how it is. Games make it. I hate it. I hate that narrative. I really hate that narrative across all sports. I hate the pressure that referees and officials in all sports are put under because of this rubbish. At the end of the day, they've got a bunker. Sports and codes and all sorts of different things are trying to put all these things in to limit the damage of some of these things, and we just have to live by it. I hate that narrative. I really do. I despise it.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you boys are basically saying with it because we're taught at a young age to respect the refs. The refs are human. They make mistakes, they make errors. But how can we turn around now in professional league and if there's an error, we go back to it midweek and say, oh, no, we're going to give the opposition team the 2 competition points now. Like, you don't know what would have happened after that. Momentum changes and stuff. Could have been overexcited. They dropped the ball or something and they just strike straight. Like, there's so much of the unknown. It's just, you can't really do anything. The more I think about it, the more, Sid, I'm never going to get you to do dumps again while you're sick because I think your brain's just, it's been fried today. You're on medication, obviously, heavy medication, and it's just played with you. So thank you, but no thank you is what I'm trying to say. That's it. Thank you, boys, for coming on. Thank you, Trav, for getting through your first dumps. It's normally quicker than it was, but Tyler he's had good internet tonight and he just wanted to just unleash. So credit to you, but Trav, you were nervous last night. I thought tonight you were ready to go, and there was at times I felt like you were ready to run through that screen and hit pretty much all 3 of us at one stage. So I love it. I love that. So
I just
thank you,
ignore the
boys.
stupidity, man.
Yeah, look, we're just hurting. I'm sorry, but we're hurting, and we just need to find something to take it out on at times where it gets a bit exhausting doing it at your own club pretty much every day for the last 6 months. It's been really, really fun. But anyway, enough about Parramatta. We love you guys. Love our LOI community. Keep getting around us. Really do support the page. It means a lot. The advisory giveaway, I mentioned it last night. I'll mention it again while JC's here. Make sure you go onto the page. It's at the top of each Facebook and Instagram page. It's only about, I think it's about 2.5 weeks now until the giveaway is actually announced. So get in, get your entries in. Make sure you give advisory some likes and some love on social media as well. Good night or good evening, good morning, whenever you're listening to this one. We will see you Wednesday night for the live show. Tuesday night will be our Super Coach stuff. Actually, no, not Wednesday. You've got Origin. What am I? I'm going. See you. Goodbye.